Okay, thank you, Emma, for the introduction. Like Emma said, my name is Ovi Brystrand. I'm an experienced guy in the ICT business, like Emma said, for more than 35 years. I've been working with Microsoft Cloud Solutions since 2011, and we have been working in our company with Power Apps for almost 4 years now. I'm also an active member of the partner organization IMCP in Sweden. And you can, if you want to connect with me during or after the session, you can find me on LinkedIn. I do have a sleeping Twitter account, so don't try to reach me there because I am not really that active on Twitter, but I'm active on LinkedIn. So the session today will be about creating Power Apps quickly. Before I start the session, I will try to introduce myself. What do I do when I'm not working? I'm a passionate skier. This is a picture of me when I visited Austria in the wintertime. I'm also a hiker. This is in Sweden, in a ski area actually called Åre, where Sweden usually have World Cup for downhill. I was there in the summer hiking. I enjoy cooking. This is a special type of cooking done in a part of Sweden where you make the cooking over an open fire. I'm also passionate about cycling. I do a lot of cycling together with my family here in Stockholm. This is an old building in Stockholm, right by the lakes in Stockholm, in the city center. So enough about what I do when I'm not working. This is kind of an introduction to who I am. Creating Power Apps quickly is something that Power Platform solutions quickly is something that we find very attractive, and our customers find it very attractive, and I know many other customers find it very, very attractive. What's good is that you can actually use stored information that is in the Microsoft Cloud. That's the base. You can also store data in other in other systems and in other databases. The path really to start with this quickly is to start small. Start with a small project, app for one business task, automation for one business task. That's the key to success. If you want, you could always, if you want to, start with a bigger project, but the bigger projects tend to grow and grow and grow and never be ready. So my suggestion is start small with app for one business task. I will show you a couple of solutions that you could really start with. Digitalize Business is what I'm really passionate about, and what I know a lot of users, a lot of companies have been doing with Power Platform solutions. And the important thing is to start with information from the paper. Usually when I start talking with customers or companies with they want to digitize information, they say, oh, this is a piece of paper, this is a document, I want to digitize this. And I say, do you want to digitize the document, or do you want to digitize the information in the document? And they say, okay, yes, it's really digitizing the information. So good, okay, then we are on the track. So the layout of the paper is not the important thing. the information is. Yeah, and most of the companies, or almost all of them, say yes. There are some still that think that you should actually have a piece of paper, a document. And we try to convince them, and the easiest way is to say, oh, do you have a mobile phone? And they say, yeah, we do. Okay, try to fit a document in your mobile phone, and that's end of the discussion of the layout. It's more than about the information from the paper. And the important thing here is, if you're talking about the Microsoft Cloud, is that you can start with Microsoft 365 stored information, either in OneDrive, in SharePoint, in Outlook, in Excel documents that's stored in Outlook or SharePoint. That's one of the easiest way to start working with the Power Platform solutions. The next thing is to use Dynamics 365. Dynamics 365, if customers have a license for Dynamics 365, they have a license for using using Power Platform. So they can create Power Apps, they can create flows in Power Automate, and digitize the information and automate the information from Dynamics 365. And then of course, there's a Dataflex, which usually used to be called Common Data Service, now under the name of Dataflex. Digitize the business. If you want users to collaborate, you have to spend a lot of time on the interface for the users. The interface for the users when you're working with Power Platform is Power Apps. Power Apps is very, very good and easy interface for users to start working. I will show you some of the small, and most of you have also been using Power Apps. So you have really found the way to start working with them. The other way that you can actually use Power Apps in the interface to customers is that you can embed Power Apps. This is something that we really started in our first customer case. That was 4 years ago. We embedded Power Apps in SharePoint. It was very easy to do, and it's still very easy to do. Like I said, you could also use Dynamics 365. I know that some of you may not know that you can actually embed Power Apps in Dynamics 365 forms. So if you want to embed a Power App button, you can embed a Power App button in Dynamics 365 form. And when you click on the button, you could actually kick a flow to start in Power Automate. Another way of working with Power Platform is now in Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams has been adopted by many organizations now. They're used to having meetings, watching live events like you do now. And you could also start working with some of them are starting to work with sharing documents. What's really interesting is now to start working with Power Apps in Teams. I will show you some ways of working with that. The other really important task when you talk about Power Platform is to automate business. This is something that I've been passionate about talking about for many, many years. When I started in the ICT business, automation was really on the agenda for many companies. Automation, like you see on the picture here, have been adopted heavily in the industry, but in the offices, on a regular office worker, and also a lot of the field workers are really not automated in their tasks that they do. So one of the things about automating business is to remove unnecessary repetition of tasks, of approvals, of handling processes. So these are some of the good things that you could actually solve with automating with flows in Power in Power Automate. Digitizing business. I will talk about a customer case that we came across. It was a customer who actually started to work with something that many, I know few customers that are working with SharePoint are experiencing. They actually stored information in a SharePoint list. So they had users going to sit down in front of their computer and they were entering data into SharePoint list. SharePoint lists in this way was that some of the workers were really field workers, so they didn't have a computer. They had a computer a couple of 100 meters away. They were in the production. They were on the floor working as field workers. And when they had to enter something into this SharePoint list, they had to walk all the way to the computer, sit down, and write down what was really happening. So the customer said, "We have a problem here. Can you find us a solution?" We said, "Yes, Power Apps is a very, very good solution." So we created a Power App for the users, so they can now, because most of the field workers have a mobile phone with them, so they could access the data in the SharePoint list. They could make new entries in the SharePoint list from the Power App, and Power Automate was kicking in when anything was created or changed in the SharePoint list. For like task assignments, who was supposed to be handling this case, this entry that was written into the SharePoint list, and when the entry was handled, another flow hit and write protected the information in the SharePoint list. You could actually do that with Power Automate with flows. You can write protect a single entry in a SharePoint list. So that was one of the things that the customer was really, really happy about, because previously they had all the entries in the SharePoint list open to everybody, every user, and they did not want that. Another benefit of using Power Apps was that you could actually store documents from the phone, but not only documents. They can store photos, they can store videos, and these are actually stored in the post in the entry in SharePoint list. So this is a very small case that I was talking about. You could start very small with Power Platform, with creating a Power App for a single task, with creating flows for this single task, for tasks in this in this process, like for task assignment and right protection. And the app was produced and was delivered in a short time, and the customer is very happy with the solution. Now, let's talk about Teams. Teams is something that you could now be using for working with Power Platform. So what you should start with is you should start with creating tables and app in Microsoft Teams. You go to Teams, and I will show you in the next slide how you could actually do that. And you use the store data that's in a single team. When you create the app, you see how you can choose which team you should use this for. And the store data in the team will become the data used by the app, and you could create flows in Power Automate to automate tasks. What's also good is that Microsoft has provided a couple of templates. So if you want to start with Microsoft Teams and create apps in Teams, is you don't have to start from a blank canvas. You can actually start with some of the templates that are available from Microsoft, and I am fairly sure there will be new templates being released by Microsoft. So if you want to move ahead with that, you could dig into some of the templates in Microsoft Teams. Here you can see some of the templates. This is how you actually get running with Teams and Power Apps. So what you really should do is you should go to Teams. You click on the three dots, and you say you want to add Power Apps to your Microsoft Teams, and you get this picture where you get a home screen, you get a video how to create custom apps, you have some information, and then you have a link to create an app. You also have a couple of apps. I have a couple of apps that I have created. You can also add some of the templates that I was talking about, like employee IDs, inspection, issue reporting. What's really good about using Microsoft Teams as a start is that it's a small and easy way to work with digitizing information. Most users are now used to working in Teams, so if they get a Power App in Teams, it's a fairly easy way to adopt, and you get a lot of users using this. What's also good is that you have Microsoft 365 license. That's enough. You don't have to invest at this time in Power Apps license and Power Automate licenses. But of course, if you want to start using more heavy development, you should be either using Dynamics 365 or Power Apps and Power Automate licenses. But to start with, it's enough with a Microsoft 365 license. And when you start in that way, you have a lot of easier task to convince even small customers that Power Apps is a fast and quick and easy way. Like I said, you could start with the templates. You could actually also start developing directly. So you could have Power Apps Studio in Teams, accessing it there. So working with Teams and Power Platform is a solution that I know many companies will adopt. And by adopting that, there will be more usage in Teams, and with more usage in Teams, there will most likely be more templates, not only from Microsoft, but also from other from other sources than Microsoft. So that is one of the things that you could do with Power Apps in Teams. If you want to go ahead and make more interesting Power Apps, you should go to this link. Emma, you can share the second link you received by me. And this is a link that's to the docs.microsoft.com, where you can see all of the list of the connectors that is available. A connector is something that is really, really good to use for integrating other software solutions. In this picture, you see one of the most familiar ones is Adobe Creative Cloud. You also have Adobe Sign. This is a list in alphabetical order. I think that the list now is over 300 connectors. What you should, though, look at is that if it's available in Power Apps, if it's available in Power Automate, if it is a preview connector, or if it is a premium connector. If it is a preview connector, I strongly advise you not to use this one in a production environment at the customer in Power Apps or Power Automate. That's being used for digitizing the customers, the company's real production environment. Preview connectors is preview. They can be changed, and they will be changed most likely, and you will not get any support if you use a preview connector. If you also should be looking at the premium connectors. If you start using premium connectors, if you have a need to use premium connectors, you should really you have to invest in Power Apps or Power Automate licenses. If you are running Power Apps, Power Automate in the with data stored in Dynamics 365, and you have a Dynamics 365 license, a full license, not a team member license, you can be using the premium connectors, but only for data that is stored in Dynamics 365. So if you want to store data in Dataflex, you would need a license for Power Apps or Power Automate to be using those custom connectors. And this list of connectors is really growing. So if you want to really look into this, you should go to this link that Emma shared with you and see what really connectors there are there and dig into those. And there's a lot of documentation around the links. So please go ahead after this session is over and look into these links. This is about the Power Apps connectors. You can see also that it is a link to the connectors in Power Automate. So you could actually see which, and you can also see which ones are standard, which ones are premium, which ones are in preview, which ones are in production, and you could see which ones are Microsoft and which ones are non-Microsoft. Interesting also is that you can have Power Apps connectors to Azure Logic apps, and that's one of the other ways you could enhance working with Power Platform is to use Azure Logic apps together with Power Apps. The Power Automate connectors, this is the second link you can share me. I'm sorry if there are any US attendees on this call, but you got the link to the emea.flow.microsoft.com. If you want to access the US one, just omit EMEA in the link and you will find the Power Automate connectors. Here we see a lot of connectors that are useful to use. The Office 365 ones, Outlook, SharePoint, OneDrive for Business, Planner, Microsoft Teams. You have these categorized in popular connectors, recently added connectors, which should be really good if you visit this link in every week. Go in and see which new connectors have been recently added. And here in this list also you see which ones are premium connectors. Like you can see for in the second row from the bottom, on the second tile, you see SQL Server is a premium connector. Like I said, you could connect to data that is stored in Azure SQL or even SQL on-prem if you have a Power Platform gateway installed. But to be working with that, you would need the premium connectors and the premium license for working with that. So start working with these connectors, start automating tasks. There's a lot of templates if you go into creating flows in Power Automate. A lot of templates that you could use and that you could learn from. And also learn from. I know that Emma will be sharing or have already shared links to some of the learning paths that I have looked into that should be good for you after this session. If you want to dig into more about Power Platform development. So another way of working with connectors is that you can actually create your own custom connectors. If you have connections that you should be needing when there's not a connector, you could actually create your own custom connector for performing actions when there is no really available connector. You could do this if you go to the Power Platform Admin Center and you click on Data. So you open up and you do not go into entities and connections, but you go to custom connectors, and there you can actually create a couple of custom connectors. This is a list of custom connectors that we have created for automating tasks in a customer's Dynamics 365. The list here is, I think, yeah, it's 9 entries here. It's 9 flows that could be run in either task in Dynamics 365. For the experienced developer, these custom connectors can be edited in Swagger editor. So you could actually see on above this picture on the right, you see actually the picture I'm showing below on the slide, that you can click on the Swagger editor icon there, so you can actually see the edit in the Swagger editor. So that's fairly easy for an experienced developer. For a professional, for a citizen developer, it's probably hard to work with. But this is also one of the things that you should be aware of when you start using Power Platform more heavily, is that you would need a combination of an experienced pro developer and what Microsoft is calling citizen developers. Working together, these can create really powerful solutions. A pro developer can create the backend, and the citizen developer can really automate the business tasks together with the business people. Another way of actually automating business in Power Platform is to use APIs. If you don't have a custom connector, if you don't want to create a custom connector, and if there's a solution that you want to integrate with something that really don't have a connector for that system, you could create a flow in Power Automate that really could work and integrate with almost any solution. This is a flow that we ourselves are using, and we have been using for a couple of others. This is a flow that is being used in Dynamics 365 to automate invoicing to a Swedish online ERP system called Fortnox. What it really does is that it loops work order products and it creates a JSON string, and the JSON string is being sent to this ERP system, and it's really parsing the information from the JSON string, and then it checks for some things, and it loops the products to close, and sets the work order in Dynamics 365 as posted and inactive. So this is one of the examples you could be using for creating, if you don't want to work with the connectors, and if you have a system that does not have a connector. So you have a lot of ways to be working. You could start with the templates, you could expand with connectors, and you could even further expand with APIs. This is, I know the time was really running fast today. I also wanted to leave open for some of the questions. Like I said in the beginning, you could really connect with me on LinkedIn if you want to have any further discussions about Power Platform. My goal when I'm when I'm communicating on LinkedIn is to gain experience from people I connect with on LinkedIn, and it's also, of course, to share experience that I have on Power Platform. I'm really passionate about Power Platform as a tool for digitizing businesses. And digitizing businesses is really on the agenda for many companies now, especially now with this situation where they are working, most of them are working from home. They have field workers that are out on the field, not able to bring a lot of documents with them. And if you're working from home, you don't have you don't have the documents at hand. So digitizing information in Power Platform, creating quick, easy Power Apps automated by flows in Power Automate is a task that I know that many companies will do, and I am really glad that I'm able to be a part of that, and I want to share a lot of more information about that. So let's see, I will now open and see if there are any questions that have been asked so far. I don't see any questions being, oh, there. Oh, yeah, I did click, I did miss that one. Okay, so let's see. A question from, let's see if this is the first question. Yeah, that seems to be the first question. I can't find a MongoDB connector on the list. Is there any option for MongoDB? Thanks. I'm really not sure. Like I said, there's more than 300 connectors. I'm really not a pro developer myself. I haven't been developing myself apart from now in Power Platform for 15 years. I have a lot of developers that help me with developing. I know what I can do with development. I would say that MongoDB would probably be able to use the APIs that I was showing. So if you that asked the question about the MongoDB connector, if you can't find it on the list, I would advise you to be contacting, or if you are yourself experienced with APIs, that you really would look at the solution I was showing you with APIs. So you can create your own APIs using that instead of working with instead of waiting for a connector. So let's see. The word Dataflex is not correct. Is something that it is called Project Oakdale for Microsoft Teams yet. Dataflex is what is available if you are using Power Apps and Power Automate with the Power Apps and Power Automate licenses. Project Oakdale is CDS or Dataflex for Microsoft Teams, but Dataflex would be from would be the right word if you're using the Power Apps and Power Automate licenses. Of course, Project Oakdale is if you're using it in Microsoft Teams. So let's see. There are a couple of other ones. Let's see what other ones being published. Have you worked with companies external to Microsoft? If so, what was the nature of tasks? Examples. If I understand the question correctly, is if I've been working with companies that have other solutions than Microsoft. Yes, like I said, with the like I was showing you with the flow we created for the ERP system that we're using. That's a non-Microsoft system. That's one of the examples I would say that I've been working with that's fairly close to what we have been doing. We have a couple of projects in the pipeline that we will be working with connecting to others. We are also in the process of discussing with a customer on creating our own custom connectors for automating and for accessing information stored in Dynamics 365 from a web front end. So I would say that those are some of the examples I would say. But of course, there's a lot of examples that you could be using. I'm hoping that I understood your question correct. So that is really the answer I have at the moment for that. If I did not understand the question correctly, you could probably type it in again and rephrase it so I can understand you. Okay, let's see if we have anyone's. Oh, we have attendees from a lot of regions in Europe, from London and from Germany, and of course from my own hometown, Sweden, in Stockholm, Sweden. So it's really nice, and I'm really happy that you spent some time with me here. Let's see if there are any more questions. I don't see. Oh, maybe. Yeah. Here's a question. I was a software engineer and I have not been working for 10 plus years. I'm upgrading myself in latest technology so I can start looking for job. How can I get a hands in learning Power Platform apps as I do not have a company email ID? If you look on the learning paths that Emma is sharing with you, you could see in those learning paths a lot of information that could be good for you. Okay, I see now that Emma is sharing those now in the chat, so you can see them. You could, of course, you probably have a personal email ID that you could be using. So that's one of the ways that you could actually do. There is also another way for most of the that is good if you want to start working with Power Platform, is that you could actually sign up for a trial, and there's also a possibility to sign up for developer accounts of Power Platform. If you are using them, they in most cases tend to be prolonged, but if you use them sparsely, then they will be available to you for like 90 days. So if you are a software engineer or have been a software engineer and really start to want to look into the latest technology, which I'm really sure of is Power Platform, please look at the learning path, and in those links you could also find a lot of more information on other learning paths. If I collaborate globally, yes, I do. So if anybody wants to connect with me, like I said, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. And if you go to LinkedIn, you type in my name, that is that you can find in the invitation to this, and you will definitely have a quick answer from me. I am on LinkedIn a couple of times a day. I actually start my morning with not only the email, I start my morning with looking into LinkedIn. So definitely connect with me on LinkedIn. Oh, I see that we even have attendees from Mexico. Thank you for attending. Okay, Emma, do you see if I have missed any questions to answer?
I think you've got everything.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ove, for delivering today's session, and also thank you to everyone for attending and for all of your questions. It's been a pleasure to run this session with everyone. As I mentioned in the beginning, this session was recorded. It will go on to the Microsoft Reactor YouTube channel by the end of the week, and I'll share that link out again on the Meetup Reactor pages, so you'll be able to access it.
Okay, yeah, and okay, let's see if there's, it seems like there may be another question or another comment. No, it was a lot of people saying thank you. Thanks everyone who attended this session, and please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn so we can share the information, and you can share your experiences with me on LinkedIn. Like I said in the beginning, I'm there to gain information and to share information. Okay, and thank you, Emma, for hosting this session. It was a great pleasure to work together with you, and I am really thankful that all of you spent almost an hour together with me. And for those in Europe, I wish you a pleasant evening, and for those in Mexico or somewhere else in America, I wish you a good day, and please connect with me on LinkedIn, and we will get the talks after this session.
Thank you so much, Ove. It's been a pleasure working with you. Thank you, everyone, and hope to see you all at the next Reactor session.
Okay, thank you, Emma.